great to be back, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's great to be back for our second season of Conversations Over Coffee. And this is a great opportunity for us to highlight different things happening in our community, meet some new people.
How exciting with this particular episode. It's real time.
Yes, very timely. We're here at the Willmar Fire Station. And I'm Nancy Hafner. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist with Willmar Early Childhood Family Programs. And I'm here with the engaging Vicki Henley.
Yes, and I'm in outreach resource for parents. I do some community engagement as well. And I see someone very important hiding around the corner. Hi, Matt.
Hi, welcome to the fire station. Vicki, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you
for
again,
having
Matt.
us.
Thanks for having us here.
We're excited to hear about what you do here and also talk about the upcoming event.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about today, don't we?
All right.
Okay, let's get started.
All right, let's go.
Yes, Nancy, it is great to be back here. And Matt, our conversation with you is exciting and timely both. We saw Willmar firefighters and trucks outside of the station on Welcome to Willmar Day and Touch a Truck. And we were reminded of all your selfless and dangerous work that firefighters experienced and it continued to experience with the recent anniversary of 9/11. And now we have something positive and exciting to talk about coming up. We have the family night at the fire station coming up now on October 5th,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So Matt, before we get talking about that, I understand that your position is relatively new here. And so we're gonna start with asking you just to introduce yourself
Okay.
and also ask you to share a little bit about you and what your role is here at the fire department.
Okay, great. Yes, I'm been in this position as deputy fire chief for a little over a year and a half. It was a new position created by the Willmar Fire Department back in January of 2020. Personally, I've been in the fire service for 24 years. So 20 of those years was down in Redwood Falls, where I served as a paid on-call firefighter. 5 of those years as fire chief down there. So the family, my wife and I moved up here in 2017, and I got on the fire department here as a paid on-call firefighter as well. And then moved up and applied for this position. I was lucky enough to get this back in last January.
Great. And how many firefighters besides you are there here at the department?
So we have quite a large group. Full-time employees, there's 2 fire chiefs, Frank Hansen, the fire chief, and myself, deputy fire chief. We have a full-time maintenance guy, Mark Thompson, and our administrative assistant, Alex Peterson. So we're the full-time staff. And then we have 38 paid on-call firefighters. So they're part-time employees for the city. So they're here when our pagers go off and when they're needed.
Awesome. I'm also interested, Matt, in how many other Matts are there? Are you one of a kind in the state, your title, or is this something new?
No, it's relatively for larger communities. It's pretty common to have a chief and deputy or battalion chief. Sometimes they're called assistant chiefs. But most communities in our area are strictly a paid on call. In the state, there's probably very few, in the grand scheme of things, Matts out there. There's over 7,000 paid on call and full-time firefighters in the state of Minnesota.
Awesome.
Just to put that in perspective.
So people would come to you if they have questions regarding events going on. Education in the community.
Yeah, so like you said, my position right now and what it was created for was to be in charge of public education, community risk reduction, those kind of things where we can get outreach to the community prior to showing up with lights and sirens, being proactive that way. And then the other thing that my main duty is here is training of all of our firefighters. So I'm in charge of all of our Thursday night trainings, making sure that our firefighters are trained adequately, if that means going out to other regional schools or taking their Firefighter 1 courses with the college, things like that. So those are my 2 main duties as deputy fire chief.
What a great addition, what a great role, very
Thank you.
needed. So we're glad we have such a competent and giving squad that you just spoke of, and we have somebody in your position, as I said. Matt, we're especially interested in the attempt that you as professionals make to build relationships with not only young children, but the community as a whole. What ways are there that you can go about doing this?
So we do a lot of different things, outreach, and a lot of it is driven by community organizations, schools, daycares, senior centers, assisted livings. They reach out to us when they have needs, questions. Sometimes it's things like this where they have a day where they're doing educational things, and we'll be asked to come in to provide some fire safety information. So we do a lot of community education when it comes to fire safety, fire plans, escape plans, things like that. So a lot of ours is driven by requests from community members.
Okay. So that leads into our next question. We always like to have our parents doing things, paralleling what you're teaching here, also being practiced and introduced at home.
Yep.
So what can parents do at home to build awareness and assist with your process?
So a lot of our, especially younger children, is driven around our October 5th family night, and in conjunction with that is National Fire Prevention Week, which is the 3rd through the 9th this year.
So it's time.
So it's very timely.
Yeah.
So we start talking to young children and their parents about all aspects of fire safety in the home. Is that the timely reminder when the clocks change your batteries in your smoke detectors, adding carbon monoxide detectors to homes that maybe don't have those right now, coming up with an escape plan. Sometimes that's kind of scary for kids to think about, how do I get out of my room? But it's very important so they understand how to get out. And then also the biggest part I feel for an escape plan is, where are you going to meet once you get out? Is that the front tree? Is that the neighbor across the street, their porch? You know, so everybody's aware of that. Those are the two big things that we know really hit home with young kids, and they're always very eager to go back home and talk to mom and dad about the stuff they've learned. And what we hope for is the parents to get enthused about that too, and make a plan and be, conscious of that plan and those kind of things.
So could I make one more suggestion? Sure. Rather than just making a plan and talking about it, actually acting it out, walking through it.
Yes.
So that in case there would be some glitches, parents, just to know, because things don't always go as planned.
And it's always good to do that. Obviously, Fire Prevention Week is a great week to do that, or get it started, but to do that maybe again later in the fall or in the spring, things like that, just to keep it fresh. You never want that to happen, but you always want to make sure that your family is safe if it does happen.
Right. See, this is just throwing it out there, but you talked about the detectors and carbon monoxide detectors as well. What if a family needed something like that and might not have the resources? Are there any assistance, are there programs that can assist with this?
There are programs. The Red Cross does a program for smoke detectors. Usually once a year, the Red Cross will contact one of the communities in the county to see if they want to head it up for the year. We did it, I think 3 years ago we did it, where we offered it to people. They could contact us or the Red Cross. We would come out, we would check detectors for them. If they were outdated or if they needed more, we put them in.
Good point, checking it, because we always don't check those, do we?
Right, we don't, and that's a lot of what we find sometimes with faulty detectors is the age of those detectors. So checking that is important as well as just the battery. But there are programs out there. I believe if you go on the American Red Cross website, I think they have a tab for smoke detectors. Otherwise, they're always feel free to call here to the station, and if they have any questions, if we can assist in any way, we're always happy to.
Appreciate it. That's great. So Matt, now we get to talk about the up and coming event.
Yes.
Happening. So I just love, again, the attempt to partner with the Willmar Fire Department and families. And we just want to hear a little bit about what's going on.
Okay.
So we can invite the community out to
Yes.
experience this.
Yes. So yeah.
Tell us.
Okay. So the date is going to be October 5th, from 5 to 7, down here at the station. Hopefully weather will be beautiful, like we've had most times. But yes, we'll have all of our trucks out for the kids to see, to climb in. All of our gear out. We'll have some of our firefighters putting on gear, showing kids what we look like in gear, because we talked about that a little bit earlier about
Important,
how
yes.
it's sometimes scary when a firefighter comes in and they've got all their gear on and their mask on and they're breathing. For those that remember Darth Vader, he sounds like Darth Vader.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that kids understand that we're not there to be scary, we're there to help them, and not to run and hide.
So they'll accept your assistance?
Accept our assistance, they'll call back out if they need our help, things like that. So that's a big part of that night, is showing that. We'll be doing some fire extinguisher training, which is always a big hit for the kids out in the
They get to
parking
do the
lot.
spraying, don't
Yep,
they?
yep.
Yeah.
That was actually, before I took this position, that was my job the last family night we had, was I was out there with the kids, which I had a ball doing that. But yeah, so we'll have those kind of things. We'll have some different organizations here with information. I know Nancy was gonna talk about that a little bit. So we'll have that. We'll have a meal going on for a while. Lots of different things going on. I believe we're gonna try to get the helicopter here to land, which is always a big thing for
It
the
is.
kids to see that come in. So yeah, there's a lot of different information, a lot of different things for the kids to see, but also a lot of information for the parents to obtain or ask questions. We'll have firefighters roaming around the whole station. Basically, any questions we're there to answer.
I've attended, I think, the last 5 years, and have been part of the early childhood program here, and it is just amazing to see the numbers that come out for this and the excitement in the air, and just, it's a really fun vibe. I just think it's one of our best events for the whole year.
It is, it is. I agree, and I think being able to do it jointly with the community and those kind of things, it's always fun to come to the fire station.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's a little bit of a firefighter at heart, I think. Those of us that get to do it all the time are the lucky ones.
Sure.
But having that draw and then having all this information available to the parents and the
Twofold.
kids is twofold, like you said. It's a great opportunity to get that information out to people.
Well, thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Matt. So we, part of the planning that goes into this is our 15th year doing Family Night at the fire station. And you mentioned a lot of the vehicles and different things like that are gonna be available for families. The taco in a bag meal starts at 5 and will end at 6:30. Typically, we run out of food by then, so it's a big event, so you wanna make sure you get here early in order to partake in the meal. There's going to be over 10 different exhibit tables available to discover and learn about. Many of the organizations that come bring door prizes, giving away things like bicycles and free book packs, and lots of other fun door prizes will be available that night. And from the perspective of our early childhood programs, the literacy piece is always something we like to plug and make sure people are aware of. And this year, our book is My Mom is a Firefighter. And hopefully we'll have one of our female firefighters reading with us tonight, along with Rich Taylor, who's done it many, many years.
He does an awesome job.
Yes, he does. So the books this year will be available at the Willmar Early Childhood Family Programs table, one per family. Something a little different. If you've been coming many years, they usually come or given out right as you walk in the door. But this year you have to go find our table in order to get the book for your family.